Our town looked peaceful from a distance, but inside every house, every wall, every person carried a silent dread that no one admitted out loud, and the fear intensified each year when November came, because that was when the cold wind turned heavier, carrying breaths that were not human, and our elders pretended it was just old superstition, but we all knew something walked these streets, something tall, thin, patient, something that remembered every face. And the story begins the night Miss Hannah whispered that something was standing near the woods, something watching us without blinking. And later that night, I saw a silhouette near the old mailbox, its body shaped like a man, but moving wrong, its arms too long, its neck bending like wet rope. And when I blinked, it vanished, leaving only cold air and the metallic smell of old rust. And people began disappearing quietly, without screams, without struggle. Mr. Dalton, then little Eric, then the couple near the church. Each home left open lights, still on, dinner still warm, everything normal except the missing people. And the sheriff lied, saying wolves did it, or maybe some criminal hiding in the hills. But no blood, no footprints, no broken doors, nothing except silence thick enough to choke us. And the nights became unbearable. Shadows stretched longer, the dark grew heavier. Windows reflected shapes that were not ours, and for me it began when tapping started on my bedroom wall, soft slow taps like a countdown. And when I pressed my ear to the wall, I heard breathing, deep, low, raspy breathing, as if something stood on the other side, waiting for me to fall asleep. And every night the tapping moved with me from wall to wall, from room to room, following my steps like it learned my routine. And one night long nails dragged slowly under my bed, shaking the floor with each scratch long enough to freeze the blood. And when I checked beneath the bed, I saw darkness that felt alive, breathing, watching, shifting like liquid shadow, preparing to crawl out. And in the morning, muddy footprints appeared inside the hallway, long thin prints pointing straight toward my room, even though the back door was still locked from inside. And every night, the breathing grew louder, filling the entire house, as if the walls themselves inhaled and exhaled with something ancient and hungry. And then the entire neighborhood lost power, plunging everything into a suffocating silence, broken only by distant dragging sounds. And when I looked outside, tall silhouettes stood behind windows inside people's houses, watching the street like hunters waiting for prey. And Miss Hannah screamed once, just once, before the sound was cut short, her porch light swinging slightly as if a huge figure brushed past. And I ran to my room, locked the door, moved furniture against it, sat in the dark, and listened as slow dragging steps approached my hallway, each step heavier than the last. Scratch, drag, until they stopped right outside my door. And then nothing, only silence so deep it made my ears ring. And suddenly a whisper rose beneath the floor, calling my name, stretching the letters like it tasted them. And the wood bowed upward as if something pushed from underneath, trying to break through. And then everything went still until sunrise, when I realized something terrifying. The shadow in my room did not shrink with light, it stayed tall, unmoving, watching me. And when I stepped back, it stepped forward, copying my movement like it enjoyed the fear rising in my chest. And when I ran outside, I found the entire town empty, doors open, lights on, but no voices, no people, only cold air filled with slow rhythmic breathing, coming from everywhere, as if the things that lived in the dark now walked freely in daylight. And I ran toward the church, but inside the pews were overturned and claw marks stretched across the walls, deep long marks that looked carved by something with fingers as long as arms. And hundreds of whispers echoed from the ceiling, overlapping, repeating, "Come home, come home, come home," until my legs shook. And when I ran into the forest, the trees themselves bent downward, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers, reaching for me. And behind me I heard footsteps matching mine, too heavy, too slow. And when I turned, dozens of shadows followed me, their bodies tall, thin, bending unnaturally, their heads tilting, listening to my heartbeat. And the forest path twisted, trapping me. The ground grew soft as if something massive crawled beneath the soil, waiting to rise. And long cracks opened, revealing darkness that felt bottomless, and cold fingers of air brushed my legs, like something testing my warmth, and suddenly the earth gave way beneath me, and I fell into a chamber of roots, dirt and bones, human bones fused with the walls, faces pressed into the soil, eyes wide, mouths open, frozen, in silent screaming, and their empty eyes followed me, begging for help that no longer existed, and a tall shadow rose from the far corner, stretching until its head touched the ceiling, its limbs bending like broken sticks as it reached toward me, and its face formed out of smoke, shifting, twisting into shapes of the missing townspeople, calling my name in voices that overlapped into a horrible chorus, and the creature leaned so close I felt its cold breath crawl across my skin, and it whispered, "You were never a visitor, you were always ours." And as it spoke, the walls pulsed like a giant beating heart, faces moving, whispering, pulling me closer, and I tried to scream, but the air turned heavy, pushing into my lungs until I felt myself slipping, fading, falling into darkness, and suddenly I was in my bed, daylight spilling into the room, birds chirping, like nothing happened except the shadow in my corner still stood, still waiting, patient, breathing in rhythm with mine, and as I stepped back, it stretched taller, flickering like smoke, ready to claim me because it knew I was alone, and the entire town, silent outside, waited for night to fall again, waited for the shadows to return, waited for me to stop running, because no one escapes this place, no one leaves. No one ever did, and now I hear tapping again, slow, steady, closer, each second reminding me that the night is coming, and when the dark returns, I know I will not survive the next morning, and the creature knows it too, because it has been waiting since before I was born, waiting since before this town existed, waiting to pull me into the earth, just like everyone else who ever tried to flee. And now the walls breathe, the floor trembles, and the whisper grows louder, saying, "You cannot run, you belong, you belong, you belong." And the shadows are no longer just watching now, they reach out, fingers brushing surfaces, touching my skin, lingering, smelling, tasting, like the air itself has turned into them, and I can hear footsteps behind every closed door, the creaking floorboards that move themselves, the light bending inside every window, reflecting shapes that are not there at first. You think it's one, then two, then dozens, moving faster now, almost falling upon you, and the tapping turns to knocking, each knock heavy, echoing inside my skull, 100 voices repeating my name, and I can feel the ground shaking under the whole town, the houses breathing in rhythm with the shadows, the walls bending slightly, moving almost alive, whispering secrets that were never meant to be heard. I run into the street, the asphalt cracking under invisible weight, and when I look back, the church tower bends, twisting, fingers of shadows reaching toward the moon, the trees sway unnaturally, branches scraping against the sky, making sound like nails on glass, and as I move forward I hear the whispers multiplying around me, promising that once I fall, the darkness will claim me completely, and every alleyway looks different, shadows pooling, growing, stretching, breathing, following, dragging themselves toward me, and the wind itself carries voices of those who vanished, moaning, screaming, warning me that nothing will save me, nothing will ever save me.